how can we live as a group of people in this country who are free when everyone's enslaved to not knowing how to support themselves? Right? If you don't know how to build a skill, take it to the market, get paid in greater amounts than what you need, then you're enslaved by the ignorance and the indoctrination and the learned helplessness and the extended adolescence and the low fucking self-esteem and self-respect that comes along with that situation, which is easily resolvable, but it's not going to happen from going back to school. It's not going to happen from going on Craigslist and want ads and just mowing grass or something like that. You got to up your skill level to up the value and utility you can transact with in the marketplace. And a couple times a year, we come together and find those who have the pain and want to resolve it once and for all, because once you know how to do it, it's the ultimate freedom fucking skill set. Knowing how to encounter an obstacle and a problem and turn it into a solution and keep on trucking toward your goals, that's what freedom's all about. And if you don't have the ability to meet the challenges and unknowns with a method, a network of people, and the principles and strategies well practiced from going in the dojo and owning the skills to be able to accomplish those things in real life. And if you don't do that, you might think everything's a stage and everybody's an actor except for you, and everybody got handed a special pass except for you. It's like, these are decisions we must learn to make for ourselves. Had I just gone through college, I'd have been screwed. But because thankfully I found out that the business degree I was paying for in college wasn't going to even teach me how to run a business, I went and paid for the skills to learn how to run a business and hire and fire and do marketing and perform sales as a high value service. And then I took that skill set and I went into the marketplace and I made $1 million for myself in the first 5 years because I have a no excuses attitude. And once you see how to crank that widget, you can go crank it as many times as you want. More rewarding for me is finding someone who, like my friend Phoenix, I met at PorkFest. He was living in his van, traveling coast to coast, delivering freight, sleeping in his van, not seeing his family, not seeing his kids, not enjoying his time at his house that he's paying for because he's got to be on the road the whole time, living in the van to make ends meet. I said, what a success story Phoenix would be if he just had access to the tools and methods and did a little practice. And in the past 2 years, he's closed over $2 million for the law firm for which he is now the vice president of sales. That wasn't going to happen driving back and forth, just listening to podcasts, listening to some free stuff on YouTube. He had to invest in himself. He had to shake off the demoralization of this world and say, you know what? I deserve something better and I'm going to go get it. And he did, and he's still doing it. And now he teaches sales training twice a week or once a week for 12 weeks while we actually add that in as a bonus for Autonomy so that people actually have not just the concept, but you get practice sessions on Tuesday nights where people are rolling in the dojo, doing the exercises, building the real confidence and competence they need to go out into the real world and kick ass. Not by taking advantage of people or plundering their production, but by adding real value and helping them solve problems they have and don't want and helping them attain results they want and don't have. Now, if you think that you might deserve something like that for your future and that you're worth more than a minimum wage skill set, then I encourage you to get over to getautonomy.info because we are enrolling now for season 13 and it's going to go by really fast. This is not a decision you make in 24 hours. It's going to take you a week or so just to find out about the opportunity, find what size package fits your budget so that you can grow at your own rate. There's nothing mandatory to the course. Once you get in, you have lifetime enrollment to the course, and you can keep coming back and improving and applying yourself in new creative ways as you grow your skill set. But if you don't get started now building a skill set, you can't expect it to be there and deliver for you anytime in the near future. However, getting started now, it does not take a lot to start to learn to show up for yourself, build some basic skills, start to apply those skills, and repeat and grow as necessary for the rest of your life. So if that is the type of change you're looking to make, then come meet the others who are doing likewise. And we have a lot of fun doing it. I mean, Paul's been through, Scott's been through, Colby's been through, LD's out there becoming a truck driver now and doing amazing things because he's taught himself to go get what he wants, right? These are adulting skills. And if you don't have them, you're being left behind, but it's not by us and we're not doing it on purpose. We're trying to encourage you to get past the fear of the unknown and to get into that leap of faith that allows you to start to flourish instead of wither in this world. Because not having enough money to pay the bills sucks. And that is not freedom. And if you want freedom, it is literally a few methods and principles away. And you just have to learn to apply it like we all did.
Hey, I don't really have a question, man, but I got a couple of updates for you.
What do you got?
Uh, so one of them has to do with goals, and so I've been through some other things, and I had this epiphany, right, about goals. And so for me, in my world, and the hardness of what it is, and where I came from, and all this stuff, to me, a goal, like if you have goals, you're like a sissy, right? So the epiphany of now that when I look at a goal, it's a different feeling for me, right? Before it was like, I mean, like I said, goals are for sissies, right? Oh, I got a goal, right? It's like, yeah, you're a softie, right? I mean, only softies have goals. So,
To your point, just for everyone's context and edification, I never saw an adult male of responsibility around me formulate a goal or even a checklist of shit they were trying to get done.
yeah,
It was all just like, right? So maybe we are soft because we have to write some stuff down and be like, what am I doing? Right. So I understand that perspective. I also don't write down a lot of goals. So I feel where you're coming from. And, it's like almost like training wheels. I could spend a lot of time writing down what I'm going to do today, or I could just get it done like
there
I
you
do every
go.
day. Right. So there's that aspect of it too. But please go ahead.
Well, yeah, so I just now I feel more confident in myself to say, okay, yeah, so I guess relating a goal. I mean, it's like I had goals already, right? It's like it's stuff that I'm going to do. This is what I'm doing today. I don't need to say, well, I want to do this. It's like I'm already going to do it. But
Yeah.
addressing that in my mind was kind of an epiphany.
Yeah.
And so the second part, I just wanted to throw that out there. And the second part I wanted to say was has to do with remember my initial one of my initial reasons for wanting to be in autonomy and my respect level for you is there's not many people that I'll listen to. I mean, I'll listen to everybody, but most people can't even begin to try to get to the root of what I'm looking for. But so I figured out, man, what my problem has been. And of course, it's all thanks to you. But so my problem, Richard, is it was in the clothes, right? So my whole life, I have all this, the contact and the agenda and the feeling,
Yeah.
where you coming from and where you want to go and all this stuff. But I never, it was like I have this huge equation in my mind of all these numbers, but the clothes was like way over here, right? It's like a
Yeah.
whole different thing. So that the whole thing of what I've been missing in all this interaction of this whole life is the clothes, right? So I just wanted to say, man, I mean, I'm not saying that I have the problem figured out or that I've solved the problem, but at least I've addressed what the problem is, man. Finally, after all. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
man.
knowing how to have a strong opening and have a strong, way to exit, it's just part of, I think, being an adult. Strong opening would be, well, I saw examples this week. Cold calling, hard thing to do, lots of failures. What if you could work out a way to a high degree of certainty that you could have success in that call? Would you engage in it more readily? Of course you would, right? So I watched the video because I was incredulous. I was like, how's he doing it? And he was like, here's a top 10. He did 100 calls with each opening line. Okay. And the top 10 most successful opening lines to get someone to at least hold the attention and be interested to hear a 30-second pitch, right? Like, how do you get to that? So he started with number 10, the least successful. And his least successful opening line worked 76 out of 100 times. And I was like, whoa, things have come a long way. We didn't have this type of analytical power back in my day. You know, it was written down on a chalkboard and stuff. And he's like, 77. So I was like, what is he going to do to improve? So I understood, like, as he went through each thing, I knew mechanically what he was doing, right? And so by the time he got to the top one, it was like, it was 8 or 9 out of 10. So an incredible success opening rate. And then the technique he was using, it was basically like, hey, Steven, my name's Rich. I'm a realtor. Would you hate me if I blank, you pitched you or whatever, right? So he's using this thing where he's using extreme, and most people aren't going to agree to the extreme. And it's like, dude, I don't even know you. Why would I hate you? Yeah, pitch me on why you should sell my house, right? That was the most successful. So if you take the same principle and you switch out the word hate for, would it be crazy for me to pitch you or for me to explain the opportunity that I see in front of you that you might not see? And the person's going to say, no, that doesn't sound crazy. That sounds like something I want to know. Tell me how valuable my house is in this market. I wasn't even paying attention. What's going on? Is this a prime time to sell? We've been thinking about, right? There's a whole conversation waiting to happen if you can get past like our reaction to shut up and stop interrupting me. Click, And so there's a whole dynamic that people spend a lot of time on because if you can pick that lock, all of a sudden your number of calls to get your monthly quota goes way down because you're making contact and having conversations now. Equally, at the close, to be able to say, given what we've talked about so far, do you think this is a stronger plan than what you've got? Yes. You could even say, how would you want to move forward from here? What would you need for a next step? And then they say, well, I'd need to see this, and then I'd be comfortable. And then we could they'll tell you if you ask the question. So you don't have to do Grant Cardone. Here's 200 of my hottest closes. I don't have a favorite. They're all my favorite. It's like, dude, that's a bunch of bullshit. Just have a conversation with people. It's so much less processing of like, how do I manipulate all that other stuff that has to go on to take away someone's freedom. You can now be present and give it real utility and value by being present and just like helping them take a next step. Because that's what the training wheels part of it is. It's like we're trying to keep them from falling over so they can get enough fun that they would want to keep doing the thing. You give a kid a bike with no training wheels. I mean, some can just ride. Some learn on those scooters that's popular now. But like they're going to think that thing's just a thing that hurts them. They don't see the fun in it. So thus training wheels became a thing at one point.